hormones work separately, now that we've reviewed them a little bit, let's look at this as an interactive slide. Again, just to orient you to this, we have the hypothalamus, the anterior pituitary, and the ovary. And what normally happens is the hypothalamus, as we discussed, secretes a hormone called GnRH. GnRH is secreted in a pulsatile manner. It's not really shown in this picture, but secreted off and on, and acts on the anterior pituitary to secrete two gonadotropins. So the first one is FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. And it does basically what it says that it does. So it starts growing follicles in the ovary. And just to review, a follicle in the ovary is basically a cyst that holds an egg. Eggs are microscopic, so we can't see them or measure them. But as the egg grows and matures, the follicular fluid grows and matures, and that's what makes the follicle grow. So we use follicles and oocytes and eggs interchangeably, but there is a little bit of a subtle difference. So FSH starts to increase the growth of the follicles, and as the follicles grow and mature, they secrete a hormone called estrogen. Estrogen will feed back to the hypothalamus and pituitary and tell it to stop secreting GnRH and stop secreting FSH because it doesn't need it anymore. There's no need to keep secreting follicle stimulating hormone when you already have a follicle made. The estrogen reaches a certain level for a certain period of time, and then it causes this feedback system to be what's called a positive feedback system, where the increase in the hormones causes an increase in another hormone. In this case, the increased estrogen causes an LH surge. The LH then causes ovulation to occur, here shown by the follicle leaving, the egg leaving the follicle, or follicle rupture. And what's left after that, hopefully that egg will go into the fallopian tube to be fertilized by sperm. What's left then of the follicle is this structure called the corpus luteum. As we mentioned before, the corpus luteum produces a hormone called progesterone that feeds back to the hypothalamus and pituitary and tells it basically, we've already ovulated. We don't need you to make LH anymore. The corpus luteum is a structure that has a finite lifespan, so it basically only lives for 14 days. If after 14 days a pregnancy doesn't take place, HCG, which is the pregnancy hormone, is not either given to a person or produced because somebody's pregnant, then the corpus luteum will start to what's called degenerate or regress. As it does, the production of estrogen decreases and the production of progesterone decreases. Then what happens is the GnRH starts to work all over again because there's no suppression anymore. The estrogen and progesterone levels have gotten so low that the GnRH can now be secreted again to then secrete FSH, and the whole cycle begins again.